is great. It's cold out there. Shout out to all the cheerleaders that will be competing tomorrow for their city. BPS Athletics is hosting a cheer competition over at Reggie Lewis Community Center. So definitely come out and support. It's free. Cheer these girls on. They're out there during football season cheering the boys on. So definitely shout outs to all the teams and good luck. Especially to my team, and hopefully we pull it together tomorrow. Because practice was tough. We do have games today, so good luck to the boys. Hopefully they win and move on. And so that'll be exciting. Today we have our guest from Boston Center of Independent Living. We have Florette Willis, who is with us. And hold on, my video. Hi, Florette. She is here by way of Worcester. So thank you for making the time to come out here and doing this interview. How was the traffic?
The traffic was good until I got close to Boston. Once you hit the turnpike around Watertown,
Yeah.
things just slow up.
Oh,
But
wow.
Nadia, I can't tell you how happy I am to be here with you today.
And I'm happy that you made the time to come out here despite the traffic and despite the weather, because it just kind of did like a topsy-turvy weird. But it was super cold last night and super cold this morning. How long did it take you to get to Boston? About an hour?
Hour and a half?
Okay, not bad.
That's not bad. I mean, I commute in like every day.
Okay.
And there are days when it takes over 3 hours. I mean,
Okay.
we really have a problem with traffic in Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's getting
It's
worse.
gridlock.
It is. Especially in the city, it's getting really bad. Where is your office located?
Our office is located downtown Boston at 60 Temple Place
Okay.
on the 5th floor.
Okay.
We're directly across, like from the Boston Commons on one side. Temple runs there. And then if you're on the back side, Washington Street,
Yeah.
you can reach us as well right next to Macy's.
So how long does it take you to get to work? Do you
It
pay for
depends
parking?
on the traffic. Sometimes I do. I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
because we go out into the community,
Yeah.
we're doing a lot. I need the car sometimes to carry
Okay.
supplies and the rest. But otherwise, I try to commute in using the T.
Okay. So Florette, tell us about yourself. One, how long have you been working for BCIL and why?
Oh, certainly. Well, everyone, again, my name is Florette Willis. I'm the Disability Services Program Manager at Boston Center for Independent Living. I've been at BCIL working as an employee for about a year, but I've been working with the disability community for, I would say, about 12 years now. The reason I do it is because, one, in my 30s, I ended up getting sick and developed a disability. I'm living with a hidden disability. I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder as well as depression. And through the process of learning how to take care of myself so I could stay well, I ended up connecting to various disability groups and ended up working with folks over at BCIL. Can't tell you, Nadia, how much it's made a difference in my life. Allowing me the opportunity to learn how to understand my illness so that I could stay well, as well as helping other people. And then another thing that happened in my life, my mother ended up being in an accident. She became disabled. And me and my 4 sisters, we had to take care of her. So it also helped us to learn how to extend her life and to allow her to have the best and most meaningful life possible. And that's made a world of difference, not just to me, but to my family.
So when I think of disability, right, and I'm sure a lot of folks think of the same way, or maybe not. They think of the physical disability. And it's interesting that you said that you have a hidden disability. So sometimes, we look at folks and we don't realize what people are going through unless they share their personal stories. So that's pretty, I'm like blown away, like, what? And then on top of that, you said, in my 30s. I thought you were in your 30s.
I'm
You
a
look
bit older than that.
amazing.
Thank
You
you
look
kindly.
amazing. Oh my goodness.
Thank
You
you
gotta rub
kindly.
my elbows and, share all that good juju. So what is BCIL?
Well, Boston Center for Independent Living, we are an independent living center. The independent living centers were created way back in the 70s. We are the second independent living center in the United States. We were developed about in 1974.
Yeah.
And the reason being, people with disabilities wanted to live in the community. One of the things that BCIL does, we're cross disability, meaning we work with people with all types of disabilities, and we're multicultural as well. We provide services to the community. We fight using advocacy to eliminate isolation, discrimination, and segregation for people with disabilities. If you think back, Nadia, years ago, you hardly ever saw people with disabilities. And that's because they really didn't have full access to be able to enjoy everything that's available in their community. Lots of people, really wanted to be, in the community, and it wasn't possible. But independent living centers have worked really hard to make sure that people can be fully integrated into society if they choose to be.
Okay.
It's all about choice at the end of the day.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you work for BCIL. And I read, I was looking at the website and it said that they employ at least 70% of their employees are BCYL staff members. And I was like, oh my goodness, talking about equity, right?
Right,
Taking a
right.
step forward and making sure that folks are integrated in society and felt like, oh, that I'm a part of something,
Right.
So I thought that was really amazing that they took the initiative. And, of course, I know why, to better have communication and share stories. I mean, how do you find folks? Do folks, come out and look for you guys? Or do you guys have like programs that you're out in the community that you identify folks? Or are they like referred to you guys? Like, how is that process? How do people seek you guys out or you seek them out?
All of the above. I mean, people are coming to us all sorts of ways. The programs that we run advocacy programs, information and referrals, peer support, skills training, PCA services, as well as transitional services, like if someone's in a nursing home and they want to come out, we have our folks will go into the nursing home, work with that person, and develop a plan so that they can be able to live in the community. Because a lot of times, all people with disabilities need, is the supports.
Yeah.
And we have so many supports and the technology that's available, as well as, access to the durable medical equipment. Things have changed a lot for people with disabilities, including healthcare, and we've been right on the front line, pushing and fighting and making it possible. And today, there are, it's really common for people to have disabilities. Like I mentioned earlier, I have a hidden disability, and there are a lot of people that are probably passing you on the streets every day, or people that are living with disabilities. In our society, because of, the way that healthcare was being delivered, a lot of people fell through the cracks and showed up at the ER when they were in that hair on fire kind of situation.
Yeah.
A lot of illnesses, they're chronic and they can last with a person throughout their lifetime. And I would like to say, with me, like having a hidden disability, I could have easily slipped by, but not having the understanding of what was happening to me and how best to care for myself, at the end of the day could affect how long I'm able to live as well as my health.
Okay.
So learning about, what's going on with me and how to care for myself and how to eat and live, it's helped me to really be as healthy as I possibly can.
Did
And I
this
plan to be here for a long time.
Now, did the center help you get to that point, or you kind of did it all on your own?
Well, because I have a mental health condition. I'm living with a mental health condition, and I'll be in recovery with this mental health condition for the rest of my life. I ended up connecting with the consumer survivor movement through the recovery learning communities.
Okay.
There's a host of places out there. BCIL is a cross-cultural disability organization, so they were a partner, as well. So I was aware that they were there, and as I've aged, I've developed other physical disabilities such as high blood pressure. I'm living with, arthritis, and a host of other things. But again, as we age, people tend to develop certain illnesses as they go along, but it's possible for you to still, be in control of your life and still, be able to be active in your community and really participate, because all of us live here, in our communities. We start with the individual. The individual is connected to their families.
Yeah.
And collectively, when we work together, we can build communities and really make our communities great places to live and great, with great programs for children and our families and, everyone around, because it's really about all of us working together
Yeah.
to improve our lives.
That is
Yeah.
true. I agree. When we talk about, you mentioned advocacy, right? And I'm thinking, okay, in order for me to get to work, I need access to get to work. So that's either by way of MBTA or I'm getting transportation. Not only getting to work, then I need to be able to enter the building if I have a physical disability. So I know that there was some advocacy around using, I think in 2006 there was a lawsuit filed against the MBTA because there wasn't really much access for folks to either get on public transportation or just like ease of access. Like ramps weren't kept up. And I know the city had made a lot of initiatives to make sure that, the ramps are nice and like you can see them and making sure that, folks have like handicap accessible parking. But there were a lot of hosts of other things that the city has done here in Boston to make sure that there's access, right? And that's really, really important. So my thing is, where does the advocacy ever stop? Like once you're there and you're like, oh, we got all this, what's next? Do you guys ever stop, or is it continuous? Like making sure that the city stays on top of making sure that the city is, it's accessible. I know that there were some for voter registration, they had made sure that they moved polls to make them accessible for folks with physical disabilities by using, I don't know what those machines are for to help folks get out of their cars, into their cars. It's this weird blue machine that I see every time when I go into the poll center. I don't know what it's called. What is it called?
They're just ramps. They're ramps.
They're ramps?
They're portable
Okay.
ramps
And-
that are making it possible. Again, like I said, like technology and lots of developments have come out there to make it more accessible for people. But the biggest part of it has been people with disabilities and we are 70% of our staff is
Yeah.
people with disabilities. I mean, we have family members on our boards and, I mean, a host of other people that are working to create real change. And like you said, Nadia, it has happened because we believe there's nothing about us without us. We want to make things better. We have made changes by, working with the T and pushing the city, to ensure that our rights are protected under the American with Disabilities Act.
yeah.
We have a host of protections, but a lot of times things fall through the cracks. I mean, people are not, really in compliance or where they need to be. So we've worked real hard to try to make it as easy as possible for people to be able to enjoy everything their community has to offer. I mean, people with disabilities are no different from, people who are fully healthy. It's just that, there may be some limitations, but with the right equipment, durable medical technology, or using information technology, they can enjoy life just like everyone else.
Yeah.
I mean, people have hopes. We all have hopes. We all have dreams, and we all have needs and things we want to do.
True.
So one of the things that BCIL strives to do is to make that a reality for folks.
Okay. And I know I say access, and it's not the only thing that you guys advocate for, because there's education, there's healthcare, there's if you need a PCA, there's a process, and I know a few PCAs because they're represented by a union, 1199, and I know that they're always at the State House with their consumers. So I've seen the folks there supporting one another and making sure that, like they get affordable health care, because health care in this country is ridiculous. It's expensive. It's very expensive. But also housing. Housing is a big issue for seniors, for folks who are disabled, for folks that have large families. I mean, where does it stop?
It doesn't, Nadia. I mean, unfortunately, it's like, our work really never ends. And like you said, with housing, it's really a big problem. I mean, we've been able to get, some additional, alternative vouchers, a program started that helps, but there just isn't enough affordable housing out there for people. And as you've noticed, I mean, the costs just continuously rise. It's tough for folks to keep pace. And most people with disabilities, they receive Social Security or on fixed income. Sometimes people, they're able to work some, so that helps, but it's not enough. We try to do what we can to get folks in housing. We have independent living advocates working with us who are helping folks with housing, helping with those applications, which can be extremely tedious and hard for folks to get through. We're helping folks to try to help them get Section 8s. It's a long, drawn-out process. We try to get them in affordable housing, but again, like I said, it's not always enough. So we need to keep pushing back. And with healthcare, we fought to make sure that the appropriate legislation was there, because without the laws, I mean, things are not going to happen. Healthcare has come a long way. Although, Massachusetts, started the healthcare reform, and we lead with that healthcare reform. We've pushed, and today Massachusetts is running the One Care plan, which is a pilot, which is leading the future of healthcare for the country, providing a host of additional services where if a person goes into a healthcare program, they have to work, with their insurance company. They may have like BCIL or some other agency working with them to try to build a team. With One Care, I mean, everything is provided in one plan. There are no co-pays for folks. People have like a team that can work with them, and
Okay.
they have, increased access to the best services that are available, which is great, and we'd love to see, all of healthcare be that way.
Yeah.
Although, you know, prevention is what the Department of Public Health is pushing for. Prevention's really key, rather than having folks wait until something
Something
goes way
happens.
wrong, making sure that people are getting that access to health care. It's just so valuable, as well as their medications, as well as their other needs being met, such as having a PCA services. We know, like with our seniors, lots of seniors, they need additional supports, and they may not have like family available. The same is
help.
true,
Yeah.
with people, of all ages with disabilities. So making sure there are people that are there to fill those gaps, making sure people, have access to the proper information, nutritional services and food and, just things that are going to make them healthy, and wellness related services and occupational therapy and physical therapy.
Wow.
There are just so many things a person can need, and the services have to be tailored to fit the individual. And at the end of the day, we want people to know that we're there. We're here in the community. There are ILs all across
over.
Massachusetts, and IL centers all across the nation there for people to help. So that's why I came out today, because I want people to know that we're there. All they have to do is pick up the phone, give us a call. You can visit us online. We have our website. It's www.bostoncil.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're trying to be everywhere,
Okay.
so that people know where to turn when they need help. And again, like I said, a disability can be, visible. There's a host of physical disabilities, but there's also a host of hidden disabilities. People who are, African American or Black. I mean, hereditarily, we tend to carry high blood pressure.
Yeah.
There's, diabetes is, chronic, in our communities and other communities of color. Those are disabilities. I mean, most people may say, oh, well, I don't have a disability. A lot of times, like with the American with Disabilities Act, people will need like 2 ADLs, or activities of daily living, that are affected. But you can be a person with a disability and you can be active. And then you also have lots of people who are out there living and working and being involved in their community. And then they get involved with an accident.
True.
I
Yeah.
mean, because all of us are one step away from having a disability. We could step off a curb and be, hit by a car. I mean,
something
it's
happens.
unfortunate,
Yeah.
but accidents happen, every day. And as our, more and more of our society become disabled, and when their activities of daily living are affected, we want them to know that there's services and there's help and there's hope, and we never want them to feel like they're all alone, because we're there, we're a
To help
team,
and cheer them
and
on
our
and-
folks, I mean, our people are amazing. And again, like I said, lots of folks have lived experience of a disability, so they know and they understand. And we're going to do everything we can to provide the most meaning in your life. I mean, it's based on you. It all goes back to you as the individual. And we just want folks to know that we're there. All they need to do is pick up the phone, hit us up on Facebook, send us a tweet. let us know. You need help, and one of our IL advocates will help you. And our services basically go like this. We have information and referral specialists who would be the front line or the first person that you would talk to. They'd put you through a process, sort of an assessment, and make sure that you're eligible for services. If you're not, again, we provide information and referrals so we can connect you
Got it.
to the right place. There is no wrong door. If you come to us, we're able to connect you to where you need to be.
Okay. Now, if, for instance, if I have a disability, do I have to present at the resource center, or can I just make a phone call and be assessed over the phone? Or do you guys do home visits?
All of the above. All of the above. Once folks reach out to us, we have folks that walk into our office. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. So we'll have folks that walk in. We'll have some folks that may call us up first, and they'll talk to our information and referral specialist who will, turn them over to an independent living advocate who will work with them, find out what they need, and make sure that those needs are met. They can get funneled off into a variety of services. We work with, kids as well. So generally, people who are 14 to 22 who are in our public schools may need assistance, or their families may need assistance if they have special needs. So our folks will come out, whether it's into the home or into the school, to help the family understand what's going on and to help the family advocate to get the most services that they need in their individual education plan, or it may be an individual transition plan, whatever it is. And then as folks get older, they're going to graduate from high school and the rest, they need to be able to transition to live in the community. And a lot of times, all that stuff is just way too complicated. I wish, when I came up, that these services was available. I was able to, work through it and make connections to folks. But today, folks can just pick up the phone, call us, and our people will step in and, guide them through that process so they can get what they need. So it's not so confusing, and we also help young adults with, jobs.
Yeah, I
we
saw
can
that on
help
your
with
website.
the transportation services. All these things are very complicated if you have to go it alone. So the bottom line is that the message I want to send to folks is that you are not alone. All you need to do is to reach out, and someone will step in and help you through that process. We don't want you to have to struggle or make those mistakes. Allow our folks to guide you. They're the experts. They have lived experience. We've been there. We've been doing this for a long time, and we try to work with other folks in the communities. We have various partners. If we can't do it, maybe they can, and we try to work with the city. Like you mentioned, with the curb cuts, we want to make sure, that those curb cuts are there so that people with a disability, can live, grow, and recover in their community. Whether you live, in Lexington, or you live in
Waltham,
Grove Hall,
Boston,
or Waltham, or
yeah.
wherever you live. We want to make sure those services are there. And if people are living in a community where they're not seeing those curb cuts, we want you to give us a call.
Or
you
folks
should
parking
be able,
in front of the ramps.
People parking in front of your ramp, so you're not having that handicap parking, and you live there, and it's preventing you from being able to go out. You should be able to go out and get your medicine. I know today you see a lot of folks in wheelchairs, who are
Walkers,
getting around.
canes,
Walkers and canes. If you decide that, you want to go and do your own grocery shopping, and that place is, close. We want to make sure that it's accessible, meaning that it's safe
Yeah.
and that you're able to get there. If you choose and you're able to get there on your own, if you're not and you need assistance, then we want to make sure that you have a PCA or someone to assist you to get there. And
Okay.
it's all about, living the fullest life possible, and
Yeah.
as Americans and even people who live here, we want to make sure that all these options are available to you and
Yeah.
that you can fully enjoy your life. And, those little things are just not getting in the way because a lot of obstacles can exist,
Yeah.
in the community, in your healthcare system, within, the educational system, and even like, with folks going to college. I mean, we have folks that can work with them and help folks, be
Yeah.
able to do and get the services that they need so they can participate if they choose to, and again, like I mentioned earlier, we provide skills training, we can help folks with
So I
budgeting and
did see that you guys offered a wide range of training opportunities for folks. Young senior citizens, people who are in between. I mean, there was a picture that showed a variety of folks in the room who are in a training class. Now, how do you guys, identify folks that need training? Do they just sign up and you just say, or, if they have, for instance, I have cerebral palsy or something, and my PCA's with me, and you guys are offering a class. Do you say, "Hey, we're offering a class. Do you want to join?" Like, how do you sign up for a training program? Do you have to be disabled in order to be part of the training programs that they offer?
well, the training programs that we offer our skills training services, most, people are finding out about us through, we do a host of events. We try to be out in the community. Our community partners may connect someone to us
Okay.
that's, that they know about. People may call us up. There's a host of ways to get involved. We do have flyers
Are
around.
they free?
All of our services are 100% free.
Wow.
Thank God for the donors that we have. We
Just
are
about to
a
ask, how are you
nonprofit.
guys
We
funded?
are a nonprofit, so we get a host of donations, and we also, apply, for grants
Yes, I'm
and
sure federally funded grants. Yeah.
and we have a host of individuals that may come out and volunteer and work with us. And, so we get, funding a variety of ways. We could always use as much as possible to ensure, that we can sufficiently, provide these services to people of various disability and ages when they need it in a timely manner. But it's been a blessing that we've been able, to do well. And, the government has, provided, assistance as well. So, it's just a matter of, it's a variety of ways. I mean, I've even seen, churches get in on the act, and
Wow.
that's been really huge.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, churches are really getting involved, trying to reach out to people in their community
Mm-hmm.
and, ensure that they have the proper supports, as well, and making connections. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a wonderful thing. I mean, because at the end of the day, who are we if we can't work together
That's
to
true.
support each other?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, we just want, people to know, that we're there and not to be afraid. I mean, irregardless of your disability. So for folk, people have like maybe two disabilities or so, more than likely if they call in and there are services that they need, then we will, be there for them. When in order to provide the services, though, it's really important for us to respect the individual's right to choice. So if people are telling us, I need this or that, we're going to go out our way to try to provide those services. And because, our services run across the board,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, we're going to be able to do it. And if we can't, we'll connect folks to someone who can.
Okay. Now, we're going to take a commercial break, Florette. So
Okay.
we're going to put a pin in that thought, all right?
How you think it's going?
I get to be cassava, baby, pana. My love for you will never die, will never die. If I ever, oh baby, if I ever, baby you too sweet, if I ever, baby dance it to the lagwaja, make a take you to Babalada. If I ever, oh baby, if I ever, baby you too sweet, if I ever, baby dance it to the lagwaja, oh make a take you to Babalada. So love is a beautiful thing. Yeah, you they cool my temper. Love is a wonderful, tender feeling. You they give me ginger. So baby, dance it, dance it, dance it. The beauty in your eyes, they give me life. Oh, oh. I could give the Lord the thanks. So for the sake of love. Oh, baby, leave it up, badi-bado. Adabadi, bidi-badi, rubber. Oh, for your sake, I could kill you. Show you love that you never seen before. For like you give me love, oh. Now you the catch my shot, oh. For your sake I go church, oh. Hey. We go drive around it for my Porsche. Baby pana, they say you like you all, I get you all, baby pana. Anywhere that you go, I can follow you to go. Baby pana, they say you like cassava, I get to be cassava. Baby pana. My love for you, we never die, we never die. If I ever, oh baby, if I ever, baby you too sweet, if I ever, baby dance it to the lagwaja, make a take you to Babalada. If I ever, oh baby, if I ever, baby you too sweet, if I ever, baby dance it to the lagwaja, make a take you to Babalada. One your child, you see, you are taking my love, oh. I cannot understand how I'm feeling. You are my woman crush, oh. Wanyama, you see, in a Miami, see, oh. Maybe me no go let you go. I will always be your lover. For your sake, I go kill you, show. Yeah. Show you love that you never seen before. For like you give me love, oh. Now you the catch my shot, oh. For your sake, I go church, oh. Hey. We go drive around it for my Porsche. Baby pana, they say you like you all, I got you all. Baby pana, anywhere that you go, I can follow you to go. Baby pana, they say you like cassava, I get to be cassava. Baby pana, afamubu alahaji. You just arch say arch.
Robotic kicking flag, but flavor bit of batter, chitter chatter, matter than the Mad Hatter. I bet your eyes come by fatter. I got the data, turn your body into antimatter. And just like a piece of sizzling, you'll fit inside my stomach with the eggs and grits between. The king is what I mean, my man, get a cup and put some change inside your hand. Now hold up. let's make this official. Everybody, let's agree that MCs need a tissue. The folks my only issue. I bet your mama miss you, and I bet the Mac take off like an MX missile. No more you whining on the charts climbing as I make the funk kicking out more harder than a diamond. And if you didn't know who's rhyming, I guess I'm gonna say Craig Mack with perfect timing. You won't be around next year. My rap's too severe, kicking mad flavor in your ear. Here comes a brand new flavor in your ear. Time for new flavor in your ear. I'm kicking new flavor in your ear. Max, brand new flavor in your ear. Craig Mack, 1,000 degrees. You'll be on your knees and you'll be burning, begging, please. Brother, freeze. Man's indisputed and deep-rooted. Funk smoke that leaves your brains booted. This bad MC with stamina like Bruce Jenner, the winner tasting MCs for dinner. You're crazy like that glue. I think that you could outdo my 1-2 that's sick like the flu. Shake 'em down, boy. I flip, boy, all the time. Cause, boy, the rhyme you kickin' ain't worth a dime. Seems like there's no competition in this rap world expedition. You come around and knock you out position. Knock 'em out. No flame could ever dig a grave. Both the Mac, the power pack, and black make you see men crack. And here comes a brand new flavor in your ear. Max, a brand new flavor in your ear. Here comes a brand new flavor in your ear. Time for new flavor in your ear. I'm kicking new flavor in your ear. Max, brand new flavor in your ear. Here comes a brand new flavor in your ear. Time for new flavor in your ear. I'm kicking new flavor in your ear. Max, brand new flavor in your ear. Hi, Max dope with more hope than the Pope, but for MCs more knots than rope. I'd like to break it down, breaking, forsaken laws of MC shaking with this track that my man's making. MCs will run like a bomb threat, I bet, or better yet, make you sweat, getting hotter than the sun get. Craig Mack is the flame that romps from here to Tibet. I break all rules with my action, that the Maxins and MCs stop relaxing. This brand new sheriff that's in town is getting down, leaving bodies buried in the ground. I set up rhymes for a decoy down for bad boy. Watch the MCs I destroy. And here comes a brand new flavor in your ear. Time for new flavor in your ear. I'm kicking new flavor in your ear. Max, a brand new flavor in your ear. Here comes a brand new flavor in your ear. Time for new flavor in your ear. I'm kicking new flavor in your ear. Max, a brand new flavor in your ear.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Bad boy. It's a no-brainer right here. Day 26.
Day 26.
Well, listen right here, come on. All the niggas gonna rush the dance floor.
Young Jock.
Please believe.
Let's go.
Yeah. Hey. Throw them deuces up and add a 6 on it. The homie Young J.O.C. about to spit on it. Yeah.
Come on. Hey, yo, this bad boy. Day 26. Jock. They call me Diddy. Let's go.
Doing my two-step off in Club Pure. The girl walks by rocking Christian Dior. We mix it up like juice and liqueur. I put it on, I turn the thongs to Juicy Couture. Go back, see, let's do it in the PJ.
Come on.
I'm so fly, yeah, I know that's so cliche. She's out of breath cause we've been cutting like a DJ. She's on the top of me, beneath me is the freeway.
She walked up in the club, dressed looking like it's painted on. I can tell that she ain't got any panties on. But baby, that's the way that I like it, yeah. And I know she's from the hood. The way she drop it so hard, booty bumping like the sounds in my car. She should let me take it up a notch, get her off the block, take her to my spot in the zone.
Got me in the days, thinking about the ways I'ma get her tonight. I'ma put her on my stage, let her do a thing, let her play on the mic.
She got that swagger, the way she move it like a pro. Love the way she drop and get low, get low. That's why I met her.
Cause I gotta get her home, show her how I do when I put it on. I'ma put it on, yeah.
Let me get some of this. Miss Diddy, let's go. Just say the word. I'ma put it on you. You can say you touched the president, Barack Obama. I'm a bad boy, and that's what bad boys do. Black ice, black coupe, black cars too. Don't tattoo my name, tattoo my logo, and let the whole world know you with a mogul.
Dacypher Radio. Hey guys, this is Dacypher Studio. We're located at 342 Pavilion Street, Mattapan, Mass. 02126, and we provide professional studio sessions, productions, mixing, and mastering. If you'd like to get your project done, please contact us now at 857-263-1314, 857-263-1314. See y'all soon.
And just like that, we are back. It's me, Nadia, from Boston Hype at Dacypher Radios, and with Florette Willis from Boston Center of Independent Living. So during the break, we were just talking about my mother who is disabled. And we have, it's the four of us, it's my four sisters and my dad. So we've all just kind of pulled around her to help her get what she needs. But even with all of us, it's still taxing, you know. We all went to college, you know, we all graduated. So it's like, we thought we knew it all, you know, and it's like always been independent, always a hard worker, you know, worked 2-3 jobs, you know. And last year, you know, she hurt her back, and then that's, you know, how it started. Then, you know, arthritis started to kick in, and, you know, she wasn't able to move around as much as she used to. And when I tell you, like, looking at a woman who has just always been so independent, you know, took care of her family, always out, always taking care of the grandkids, running around the city, and then for something to happen and really debilitated her, just, you know, and just seeing her emotions go up and down, and, you know, identifying that, you know, she's not in a good space, you know, and how do you pull her out of it, you know, and it's just in taking her to appointments and making sure that, you know, yeah, you're talking to your doctors, but your doctors never say, hey, there are services out there for you, you know? And I think as people of color, we tend to take on so much because we don't feel supported, right? And, you know, we take on the responsibility of just getting by and just trying to do the best that you can. And not really having folks there to advocate and be like, you know, the people that you think are there to help you really aren't there giving you any information. So I appreciate you sharing this information, because now I know that there's something out there, you know, and disability looks different for everyone. So I'm definitely happy and relieved that you are here, because I know as soon as you leave, I'm going to be like, Mom, we can get you some services. And, you know, I think we're a middle-class family, you know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, she's always worked, always had health insurance, like, you know, and it's, nobody ever mentioned this service, you know? And, you know, and it hurts, like I said, to see my mother and her emotions go up and down, because you know when someone is going through depression. But then we were also talking about the caregivers, right? Because seeing my mother go through that, you know, I'm almost going to get teary-eyed, but it hurts. Like, I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to pull her out of it when she's in her moments, you know? And just talking to my sisters and trying to figure out, you know, what are we going to have to do? I work full time. I have stuff, you know, I have my own family I have to take care of. And, you know, my sisters, they all have their own families. So it's like, what else can we do, you know? And there are points that she's home all day, you know, and I know, you know, and it's just like, how do we get her some help or interact with other folks, you know, go out, walk, you know, like, I'm just thankful that you are here to share that information. And, you know, there's light at the end of the tunnel. So, and I know you were just talking about, your mom and all the information that you received through your network of people. I don't know if you want to talk about it, and share how, how you were able to talk to lawyers that you were working with that gave you some ideas. And, you know, um, people don't share information anymore, they just keep it to themselves. And it's like, ah.
Yeah, Nadia, yes, it's really hard when our loved ones become disabled, and people do become disabled by age. Like I said, some people may be born with their disabilities, and others may, acquire their disability from being in an accident. I mean, there's a lot of things that can go wrong in life, Things happen. But when it happens, we want people to know where to turn to get the most appropriate health care and the highest quality care. Now, for my mom was hit by a train in the 80s, and my mom survived that incident and had to learn how to, walk again. And she had, a traumatic brain injury and a host of other things that came along with her. I came from a big family. I have 5 sisters, and we all worked together as a team. And back then, it was very difficult. I mean, things were very, very different. But one of the good things was that I had an uncle who was an attorney, and he was able to do some things from his end. And I worked for the Office of the Federal Public Defender, so I had connections to people, and, we knew, experts, or if we didn't know an expert, we knew an expert who knew an expert, and I could figure out like what to do, and I used that appeals process to get my mom the most appropriate care. And there was a lot of bumps in that process. I mean, she ended up being in a nursing home, and she was not happy. She ended up, at one time being placed in a mental health institution where she was over medicated, where she was catatonic, meaning she could not speak. And when I saw that, I was like, no, we have to do something. We got to do more. And we found ways, and we bucked the system, and, got the system to change, and we were able to get her that care. And my mom, I grew up like it from the time I was a teenager. People told me, your mom's gonna die, and I was literally like prepared for that. Like most of my life, grew up with a lump in my throat, but my mom lived to be, well into her 70s. I mean, she lived a long life, and she was happy and surrounded by family, and she got to meet her grandkids and, her great grandkids, which I saw as very amazing.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I'm a person with a disability, and that encouraged me to get involved. But also what happened to my mother, I would keep thinking like, what are other people gonna do? Like, how do they get past that?
Yeah.
They may not have these connections, because even like for me, when it came to, the mental health stuff and dealing with the depression and dealing with the stigma and, being able, learning how to block out the noise, because you get a lot of negative messages from people who mean well, it's for it not to make me sicker, and to have the courage to be able to speak out and say, this is what I'm going to do regardless,
Yeah.
I mean, not to hide in the darkness because I had a disability. I learned to access those services, and I've been working ever since, as I've recovered, to make sure that other people have that opportunity as well. And I was able to get involved, as healthcare reform was being shaped, and, being able to add my 2 cents into the Commissioner of Mass Health, and, talk to the people who really, were in a position to make change, to really create real change and let them know about some of the services that my mom had, because we were able to get those PCA services and other things like in the late 80s and 90s, which was key to me and my sisters being able to have full lives as well and to go on to college and the rest, and really, be able to connect to groups to support ourselves as well. Because as you mentioned, being a caretaker, you have to be very, very careful. I mean, you could burn out. And oftentimes when people are taking care of someone else, you forget about yourself. Now, I'm sure you've flown on airplanes.
Yeah.
And on the airplanes, one of the things they're telling you, and I know a lot of people don't really listen to them when they're trying to give you the instructions before they take off, is the oxygen mask is going to drop from above. Before you help someone else, what do?
Help yourself.
You help yourself. You put the mask on for yourself, because you can't help anyone else if you don't first take care of yourself. So as a caretaker, you have to be really mindful of what's going on with you as well. There's support groups for caretakers. There's also a lot of wellness related things that you can do to release that stress and to help you learn how to manage the stress better, so that you too can be well and that it does not cause you to burn out or to be sick, because I was talking to you during the break. I mean, trauma and stress, and I mean, it could actually create illness within the human body. So we want to be careful, and it's real difficult to strike that balance. But it's possible, for you to do things. I know, lots of folks from communities of color go to church. That's a good way, of dealing with, things that may happen in life and stuff, but there's a host of other things you can do. There's positive affirmation, and there's yoga, and I mean, all these wonderful things. A lot of people say, I don't have the time, but it's really about making the time to, think about you. I mean, some people may even need to see therapists, and I know like there's a lot of stigma in regards to disability and mental health, in particular for people of color. And some of us, are raised in these messages are locked deeply in our brain. We have to learn how to let go of those things. And, if you need help and something's bothering you and it goes on for an extended period of time, it's okay to talk to a friend or, talk to your primary physician about it, or try to reach out. I mean, even if you can call BCIL. I mean, even if you're not a person with disability, we do information and referrals, and we'll connect you to places. I mean, there's a shortage of psychologists who are people of color, but I mean, there's a host of people out there. I mean, good folks, and there are people we can connect you with if you have a preference. Someone who may understand your culture better. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities, but we need folks to pick up the phone and make the call. Our number at BCIL is 617-338-6665. Again, our number is 617-338-6665. And folks, you can also hit us up on Facebook,
Instagram.
Boston CIL, or at bostoncil.org on Twitter. We're there. I mean, but the bottom line is that what we are trying to do here today, Nadia, is get folks to understand that they do not have to go through this alone. The system has really changed. Healthcare reform has provided a lot of services.
Yeah.
So people like your mom and your family can get those additional supports. They're out there. And like you said, like a lot of times people just don't know. If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
But today, you could ask someone. We're hoping like more, people who are working in the medical community as they're getting educated, and community health workers are out there,
Yeah.
providing information in the community and services that, the word will get out so that people can get whatever they need, to survive. There's a host of things that can be done
Yeah.
for your mom, like it was done for my mom today. And I thank God for that. I'm very, very grateful. And even I was telling you today, I ended up becoming by chance, I didn't plan on doing it, caretaker to my 81-year-old aunt. She came in, from she's from New Jersey originally. She worked for the state there, retired, and went to Georgia and was staying with family. And she just showed up here. And she's like, I'm here. I'm coming to visit you. And I looked at her and I'm like, oh my God. She's not well. She has things going on. Like most people, who are aging, there's going to be a host of things going on. But I ended up taking her in for care, and I found it out there was a lot more things that she did not know about. And I'm trying to make sure that all of her needs are being met and addressed. And it's difficult, juggling it with my job. But she's my family.
Yeah,
and
and
I
by God's
remember
grace,
as a
she showed up at
child,
your doorstep.
her being my biggest cheerleader and, promoting me. And when I wasn't doing well, really just being there for me. And, we have to always pay it forward.
Yeah.
We all get help. No one in life goes through life without getting help from somewhere. There's a lot of people who always say, I did it myself. But you know what? No one in life does anything without getting help. There's always someone there that's helping and supporting people, so, you always, you never do it alone. And it's and that's what we try to promote, the necessity of working together as a team, and how much more can truly be accomplished by working together instead of pulling apart and working alone, regardless of where you come from or what language you speak or what your age is or what your disability is or how much money you make in life. Things are going to happen, and being able to reach out and coordinate and understand what's going on helps the entire family. Getting those necessary services in a timely manner can make all the difference in the world. So we want folks, to reach out to us. And like I said, if we can't help you, we're more than likely to find somebody who can. So give us a call. And, I want to remind folks, if things are going on in your life and there's trauma, that's affecting you, even witnessing, something horrible in your community, those effects stay with you. That trauma can live and stay in your body and do a lot of harm and emanate in an illness. Being able to reach out and talk about it and not feeling ashamed, because there is no shame in talking about how you feel. Today, we know that that's about, promoting positive health, and it's about preventing additional things from coming on
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So we want you to know, no matter what's going on, in your life or conditions or whatever, reach out. I mean, there's a host of wonderful agencies out there
Yeah.
who can really help you and provide support in real time, like in the community. There's services that can teach you how to take care of yourself, your family, your loved ones, how to work through that stress. If there's a physical illness or whatever, how to support you
Yeah.
so you yourself, can stay well. And a host of wellness activities,
Yeah.
even if nothing's going on in your life, folks, even if you're young and you're healthy and carefree,
Yeah.
just doing everything to stay that way.
Yeah.
It's important. It's important to all of us. But to people in the disability community, I think it's key to really living, the most meaningful life possible in each and every human being, irregardless of race, creed, color, religion, or socioeconomic
Yeah.
status you come from. You deserve it. Love yourself. Love your neighbors. Connect with your community.
Yeah.
And you folks who are out there healthy, do some things. I mean, volunteer, get involved with civic activity. And like at BCIL, you mentioned, earlier, we do a lot of things in the community, and we have fought really hard for legislation. I mean, this is called advocacy. We encourage people to get involved in your community. Civic engagement is one of the most important times. We are living in times where, a lot of things, can go on and things can change. And if you see something wrong in your community, even if it's like a curb cut not being there, or a place where, you feel like a traffic light or a stop sign is going to make a difference because it's going to protect someone's life, don't ignore it. Get involved in civic, responsibilities. I mean, this is just all of our responsibilities. I mean, just get involved and do what you can, whether it's at your church or your school or, the family center near where you live. Give, and reach out, and you can receive.
That's true. I do want to talk about, we've been really positive up to this point, but I do want to say and bring awareness to that there are people who are out there taking care of disabled family members, but are abusing them or taking advantage of them, and and there are people out there that are intentionally attacking people who are disabled. And I guess my question to you is, do you guys have programs or resources for people who, suspect that someone is being abused or, taken advantage of? There are, I've heard stories of, people who are disabled who are being raped, starved to death, locked up in a room, and that does happen. And I'm sure you've had your experiences where you've had to speak to folks. And I think I just want your perspective and, what you guys offer at BCIL to help folks address those concerns. It's hard because if you're disabled and you're not in the mental capacity to kind of speak up for yourself or seek help, what happens?
Well, at BCIL, we fight against discrimination, isolation, segregation, and abuse is something that, we are mandated by law to report. So anytime we see something like that happen, we must file a report with DPPC, or the Disabled Persons Protection Committee, to make sure that that person's needs is being addressed and that abuse stops. I mean, and we all know that abuse can take on many, many forms. Even like today with sexual trafficking. Um, you know, the numbers are showing that like 70% of the people are people with disabilities.
Yeah.
People take advantage of people. It's cruel, it's unnecessary, and it should not be
inhumane, yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
So anytime that something like that, comes across my desk, I'm going to make the call and make sure that the state is able to step in to make sure that that person's needs are being met and that that abuse ends. I mean, because no one should have to go through anything like that.
Thank you for that. I just want folks to know that there is resources out there. I think there is a phone number if there's a suspect of domestic abuse towards folks who are disabled. So I don't know what that number is though, but I think it's on the website. If you suspect, just call 911, call somebody. Because it is inhumane, these folks can't fend for themselves. So it's really a disgrace to those folks that are, participating in that. So I do have another question for you. So how did you become the program manager for BCIL?
Well, as I mentioned before, Nadia, been around for a minute. I mean, I started with working. I actually opened the door. I was the manager, opened the doors for the recovery learning communities. I had worked, like many years in government prior to that.
Okay.
So I came in, with some experience. I've been in recovery. I'm pushing towards 2 decades now.
Wow.
Had a lot to offer, a lot to give, and a desire to pay it forward. From the recovery learning communities, I ended up connecting to a lot of community partners and working with different agencies. I sat on the One Care Implementation Council, helping to shape the future of One Care. Got involved with disability advocates to advance healthcare rights group, and worked with one of the ILs, one of the multicultural centers. And once that place closed down, I did some work, as an ombudsman with the Disability Policy Consortium, and ended up landing over at BCIL. It's all the same work. I see all these various disability organizations, not just as partners, but like as a big extended family.
Okay.
We're all trying to do the right
Same,
things.
yeah.
Various groups, you may have NAMI Mass, that's specializing in mental illness. You may have your recovery learning communities who are working to, provide services to support, people with mental illnesses in the community. You have your ILs who are working with the cross disability community. A lot of people think, like with the independent living centers, we're just working with people with physical disabilities. And a lot of people, another misconception is that people with physical disabilities aren't the only people with disabilities, but you have people who are living with high blood pressure,
Yeah.
diabetes, lupus. They can
True.
have heart issues. There are a host of illnesses, immune diseases that, people can have who are living with anemia, a host of things. they're people with disabilities.
Yeah.
But you can't see it on the outside. It's there.
Yeah.
I mean, and one of the things that, like I said, we try to do is welcome everyone in. Let everyone know that they're not alone and try to do everything we can to support that person.
So it doesn't matter. Just pick up the phone and,
Give
call,
us a
talk to
call.
someone, and you can find out if you can get additional resources. And I'm sure they're going to refer you someplace else. It is what it is. But you're not in it alone. And I think that's what we have to get out of. It's like, oh, we got to do this. I'm sick. I got to take care of myself, and I got to do this alone.
And that's one of the biggest misconceptions around, like as if, people of color
Yeah.
are superhuman. I mean, that's not true.
not.
We're human just like everyone
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
We bleed just like everyone else. And, we hurt like everyone else. So, throwing out those old myths and just saying, I'm a person. And if something's going on, just talking to someone, whether, it be someone in your community, your church, your school, your one of your friends, talking to your doctor, just to ask, what can I do about this? If you're not comfortable with that, I mean, BCIL, we're always there. Our number is 617-338-6665. You could also hit us up on Facebook or Twitter. We are more than happy to make those connections to where you need to go. We're living at a time where, healthcare reform is still in existence.
Yes, it is.
And we at BCIL will fight with everything we have to make sure the system constantly improves and that we don't backslide, because we feel like as a society, it's the best thing for all of us. And as a whole, we want to support our communities. So folks, do not feel afraid. Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Just give us a call.
So, what about folks that English isn't their first language? Do you guys have other languages that are offered if folks need assistance in talking with someone?
Our information is available in 7 languages. So, basically across the board, I mean, we are multilingual. We have on staff a Haitian Creole IL advocate. We have a Spanish IL advocate. We have a Cape Verdean IL advocate. We have various language speakers who are there. But if push comes to shove and you speak another language, do not let that be a barrier to you getting help. Give us a call. We can reach out. We're using the technology so we can reach out to a cultural, interpretation line, which will translate, the conversation in real time so that we can understand what you say. So we want to be there for you. Please, regardless of where you come from, whatever God you serve, whatever color or creed or age or whatever, just give us a call. Our number is 617-338-6665 and hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. We want to be there for you. My name is Florette Willis. You can ask for me, but if you don't get me, one of our staff members would be more than happy to help you. We have, like with our volunteers, we're like pushing towards 50 employees. I mean, we're really growing and trying to get out there. And that's why I'm here today, because I want you guys to know that you are never alone. Just reach out and there will be a helping hand to guide you through the hard times. Do not sit back and suffer. In this day and age, there are so many ways that you can make connections. Please, folks, reach out, call us.
Okay. I will. I'm definitely going to call you on
And I
Monday
look forward
morning.
to that, girl. I am so happy that I
need
met
to bring
you.
my mama in.
Sounds like a plan.
No, definitely. I was searching online and it came across you guys just by accident, and I sent a DM to to the Facebook on Facebook Messenger. I sent a message, and then like I don't know who responded, but they responded really quickly, and so I was like, I was doing my little research, looking you guys up, and I was just like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. I didn't. I didn't completely understand the organization until you started talking about it. So thank you for being available and coming out and speaking. And for those who, probably did the same thing I did or, looked at, because I did an ad and they were like, what? What's this? And hopefully they connected and, watched and got some information because it's tough. It is tough. It's very tough if you're dealing with someone, taking care of someone who's disabled, and knowing that there are resources out there. And I told you, I didn't know, I don't know what I was doing. I mean, we did everything that we could possibly do for my mom, but it's nice to know that there's, the relief I feel that's just lifted off my shoulders. Like, I don't have to do this alone. Like, so I'm really, really, truly excited. But I do want to ask, do you guys have any events that are coming up that folks can participate, get some more information?
Well, folks can always visit our website, www.bostoncil.org, to look at our events. We have an annual meeting that's coming up. That's where our members and board members may come, and other people from the community are invited to participate as well. That event.
Just look it up. Give us a minute.
Wait a minute. Let me look at
It's okay, no problem. And this is, oh, you guys have youth programs?
We do. We run youth programs, and we do skills trainings with young adults to help them transition into life, into college. We help them, transition with jobs, whatever it is, that people need. We basically try to meet those needs. Anything
guys
that
help
life
with-
throws at you.
You know how many children I know that are on IEPs? Wow.
Yeah, the
They
numbers are
offer
really
help.
high.
I hope you guys are looking at this. This is amazing.
Well, it's not just, we offer help not just for the individuals, but for the family members as well. I mean, it can be really overwhelming understanding and walking through the process as well as knowing your rights,
Yeah.
And when you're going through that process, you want things to go right or as close to being right the first time around. You want to make sure you're getting the most supports because life, it's a process and it can be very, very challenging if you're trying to do it alone. So we're hoping, folks just reach out to us and know that we're there. And even the simplest things. I mean, a lot of people, I wouldn't call it simple. I would say one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is even budgeting.
Yeah.
I mean, a young person learning how to budget their money and build credit
Yeah.
before, they
Before you-
really get into working
Yeah.
and get on into college. I mean, can go a long way.
Yes, Ken.
Learning how to ride the T, there's a lot of people that don't quite understand how to get around or what's the best way or what's the best route. We have people, that work with, young adults to make sure, they know how to get around the best way, the best route. We want to make sure people have access to transportation through healthcare.
Yeah.
People entitled to transportation rides to their doctor's office and other important things or wellness related events. We want people to be able to have that access at the end of the day. And a lot of people don't realize, what they're entitled to. They may need it, but they may not be able to afford it.
Also, if you guys are inclined and would like to make a donation, you can also do that on the website, www.bostonil.org/donate. And you guys have centers throughout Massachusetts, correct?
We do. We have centers throughout the state. If you live, in a certain area, we'll be sure to connect you to the IL that's closest to you. If you call Boston Center for Independent Living and you live out of the area, we'll do our best, to try to meet your needs. Our annual meeting will be our next event, and that's coming up on November 26th.
Oh, nice.
From 6 to 8 o'clock. We're going to be at the Transportation Building. That's 10 Park Plaza in Boston. We'd love for folks to come. It's also a fundraiser. So there is a nominal donation that people can pay. But I'd love to see you all there.
And it's for
If
a
you
good
come
cause.
and,
Yeah,
you heard me on the show, please, let me know.
that's awesome.
I really try to get out and make sure that people are understanding and to break things down, for folks so that folks understand what we do, because a lot of times, like I said, people make assumptions and you know what they say about assumptions. Yeah, we serve the greater Boston area. And again, like I said, we have a host of wonderful folks who are experts at doing this. So we don't want folks to have to go through, a lot of bumps and bruises unnecessarily. If you can, try to get it right the first time, if you have problems with housing or transportation, you're looking for employment connections, give us a call. We will, do our best to help you. If you're a person with disabilities and you qualify, we will provide those services directly to you. If we can't help you, we're connected to a host of community partners around the state. We will connect you to someone who can. Lots of services are available for everyone to live full and meaningful lives. You're entitled to it. Love yourself, folks. Reach out.
Yes. I'm just looking at the services you guys provided, that you guys currently provide. And I know you mentioned quite a few, but I do want to highlight they do help with teaching folks how to acquire assistive technology and communication equipment. Planning a child's education plan, like I said, they have programs for youth between the ages of 14 and 22 to help with IEPs. I know a lot of kids who are on IEPs, and parents are overwhelmed because once you get labeled as an IEP, there's this
Stigma.
that you can't be helped, you're stupid, they box you in, and there's no support there. My nephew is on an IEP, and it's, I work with him a lot, we do a lot of reading, a lot of, CAP, and just making sure I stay on top of it, because I don't want him to be boxed in. I know a lot of my friends whose kids just kind of fell through the cracks. They got into high school, and that was it. Like, if they graduated, they did, they barely graduated. And sometimes they just put the kids through. And it doesn't help. It doesn't help because they are not employable, and then it starts a system of it just goes downhill from there. So.
And those are a lot of myths. I mean, one of the things we do, like I said, we help, we provide skills training. People with disabilities are no different from other people. We, as people with disabilities, have hopes, have dreams. People with disabilities have many, many talents and can do lots of things. And again, 70% of our staff are people with disabilities. And I'm talking about various disabilities across the board. It does not matter. If the person wants to do something, we will do our best to, support them in that. Lots of people with disabilities are working today. One of the misconceptions our own government had was that if a person has a disability or to receive Social Security, you can't work. Lots of people with disabilities are working today, and BCIL was on the front line making that happen. Again, like I said, we've been around since 1974. Our agency is experts. We was the second IL created in the nation for this. The IL concept was created because the word can't, you can't do this, was placed on someone. I mean, you just cannot think that way. People with disabilities can do whatever other people can do with the appropriate supports. And this may be, using IT technology, which has come really far. Some people with disabilities cannot speak, but using the appropriate, technology, it makes it a reality. We have people on staff who cannot see, but using the appropriate technology, they're able to do anything that any of us can do. I mean, you would be amazed. I mean, and people with, developmental disabilities are working, are playing, participating in their community. I mean, we're helping people. I mean, even if people have mental health conditions, I mean, people who have gone through a lot, who have been in institutions, people who have had nervous breakdowns. No matter what your disability is, you can come through and you can work and you can and you should and you are entitled to everything that any other person is entitled to. And one of the things we do, as well as we work with people to build their confidence. Because like you said, Nadia, a lot of things, a lot of people, even with children, I mean, kids may tease each other and break their self-confidence. We work and we build it up and we help to find those talents that might be hidden. Everyone, each and every one of us have a talent. We're here on this earth, I believe, for a reason. And it's just a matter of finding what that thing is or finding the appropriate, supports to make it possible. So folks, I want you to hope. I want you to dream, dream your wildest dreams and reach out. Don't allow your disability or anyone to fill your head with negative thoughts about what you can do. You know yourself well enough. If you have a disability, reach out to us, and we'd like to help you. And one other thing I want to touch on is durable medical supports. A lot of times people need those. A lot of times with certain insurances, those things are not available to the person, or people feel like they can't afford them. Please, give us a call, 617-338-6665, so we can help you make those connections, because there's a lot of things that can be done that can make life a lot easier.
Even for modifications for like home.
Modifications for homes, those ramps that you see, there are options that are out there. again, like I said, we're well connected with community partners. We are the experts. Allow us to do the job, to make those connections for you, to make your life easier. Nadia, I'm going to leave behind with you
Oh, yes.
some cards so you can share
Thank
with
you.
folks
Yes, I
in the
will.
community,
I
as
will.
well as brochures. If you could please, help to make those things available to
I will,
people. Have
definitely.
folks reach out to us. I mean, because like I said, the only thing that usually stands in a person's way is that person.
That's
And
true.
sometimes it's all about your attitude, the way you think,
Yeah.
So I want folks to reach out. I mean, so we can work with folks and show them what they can do and develop new perspectives and new ideas and
Yes.
throw out those myths. I mean, throw out all those dirty old
Yeah.
myths and
out of
lies
your own
with
head.
the bathwater, start thinking new, fresh ideas and getting involved. I mean, we can help people get involved. A lot of people, I mean, that I've met that have gotten involved, they would tell me, I never thought I could do that. Because no one ever encouraged them
Yeah.
and gave them the opportunity. And again, like I said, with the proper supports, I mean, you'd be blown away by what a person can do.
Yeah.
So never say never, folks. Dream, dream, dream,
Yeah.
and reach out to us, and we'd like to help you to make those dreams a reality. Like I said, in life, I mean, we all have a role. We're all was put here for a reason. At
I
least
truly believe
these
that,
are
yeah.
my beliefs. And it's just a matter of finding your talents. Like I said, people have hidden disabilities, but a lot of times people talents or what they really could be best at or could do in life, those things are hidden. And we have people who are skilled at kind of helping folks
Yeah.
figure out where they fit in best and using your strengths and building on your strengths so you could be all that you can be.
Thank you, Florette.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I know you have to go because your auntie's sick. But
Yep,
I
I'm on my way
appreciate-
back to
I
the hospital,
know.
folks. But,
I appreciate you being here.
I have
truly
strong
am.
beliefs, and I think all is going to be well. And I feel like, God sent me here today
Yes.
for a reason to sit with you, Nadia. Please share the
I will
information
share
with
it.
folks. And you guys who are out there listening, again, I just want to say one last time, our number at BCIL is 617-338-6665. We have a TTY number if folks are hard of hearing, and our Facebook and Twitter handles are out there, bostoncil.org. Hit us up. Come out to the annual meeting on the 26th. We'll be at 10 Park Plaza, downtown in Boston. All are welcome. And all of our services that we offer are 100% free. And this is a credit to our donors and, various government
yeah.
agencies and businesses in the community that are supporting us so we can support you. Remember, folks, you are never alone. Just reach out, and we'd like to be the helping hand that holds you and guides you towards wellness.
Thank you. Thank you. And good luck to your auntie. I hope everything works out. She's in good hands, most
Thank
definitely.
you, and I hope to hear from you soon
Yes,
as well.
definitely, you will. Thank you to our viewers and our listeners today. There was a lot of information. I'll definitely put the information on the page and the link on my Facebook Live. But yes, thank you, and we're going on a commercial break. I'll walk you out.
Oh,
You don't need a closet, take you to Taiwan. You can have the whole warehouse, Lady Sean John. And on the 14th, I buy the whole island. Name it after champagne and call it Crystalline. Yeah, I knew that have you smiling. By day 26, I have your ring finger shining. Let's go! Day 26.
Cool and Dre. This is the remix for the city. Let's just start snapping. Crack hit Bleak on the jack like, let's make it happen. Oh, it's
Nothing
me.
can stop me. I'm all the way up.
It's me.
All the way up.
It's me.
I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Shorty, what you want? Shorty, what you need? What you need? Let's run the game. We ain't never leave. Never leave. Counting up this money. We ain't never sleep. Never sleep. You got V12. I got 12 V's. Got bottles. Got 'em. I'm all the way up. Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. All the way up.
Turn me all the way up, Dre.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all
You know
the
you
way
made
up.
it when the fact your mash made it is worth millions. Lemonade is a popular drink and it still is. Woo. Survival of the littest. To really up verse, up in your business. I'm in the room with real not allowed. Woo. I'm the only one in the room that they fear right now. Woo. I think they clear right now. Let's celebrate, no red champagne, we don't play that. All we see is gold bottles and paper plane hats. 21 Grammys that I use for Douce cups. I'm on the penthouse floor, call your way up. The OG said, ho, how high is high enough? I said, till we I with the higher ups. Until we let them know we ain't those. Until our baby showered in gold, nigga. Blue looking like Pac in the tub. David LaChapelle levels and not giving the full. Prince left his masters where they safe and sound. We never gonna let the elevator take us down.
I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
Yo, Pecos.
I'm all the way up. Nothing
What up,
can
Nori?
stop me. I'm all the way up.
This wasn't me, this was God's doing. And this time I won't finger roll. Pat Ewing, they ain't wanna see the squad in the rock. Now they chasing the Wraith like Mr. Softy's on the block. Stars on the roof, got a feeling like Venus. Getting so much brain, now I'm a Don Carter genius. Ever since Pump been gone, been independent. So I went and threw the punch jump man up independent. I flooded out all the crisis. Out of Paris, I learned what real ice is. I'm kicking flavor in your ear. I just had a gray on my face and it disappeared. I just dropped the biggest of checks and it cleared. When everybody counted us out just this year. I'm Steph Curry in the clutch. Take a shot of this Royal Elite and go all the way up.
All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
My swag, my flow, I stole it back. They mad, too bad, my shows is packed. My town, my crown, I really rap. I'm home, my throne, I spoil you that. When the bitch was gone, they was really playing with it. I was sitting listening like they ain't even saying shit. Now the real is back, I see they all trying to change this shit. But it's really too late now, I'm going back.
Go.
One of these bitches, two of these bitches gotta die. Three of these bitches, four of these bitches gonna cry. Five of these bitches popping pills, they high. None of them get fly. See, I don't wanna hear about your records and big numbers. Cause I was up top 7 winners and 6 summers. Cuffed all on that bus, locked me all the way down. Now I'm all the way up.
All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Shorty, what you want? Shorty, what you need? What you need? My nigga run the game. We ain't never leave. Never leave. Counting up this money. We ain't never sleep. Never sleep. You got V12. I got 12 V's. Got bottles. Got 'em. I'm all the way up. Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. I'm all the way up.